Welcome to the Digital Marketing Insights podcast, brought to you by Brightside Digital.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm delighted to say I have Wanda here today. Wanda, how are you doing?
Hi, Tom. I'm good. Thank you for having me in the show.
You're very welcome. Wanda is a digital marketing manager. And Wanda, can you start off by telling our audience a little bit about yourself, please?
Sure, Tom. I'm originally from the Dominican Republic. I lived and worked in Madrid, Spain for almost 11 years before moving to Ireland. I currently work as a digital marketing manager for EMEA Active Mobile Security, a cyber and telecoms security company. I'm bilingual in English and Spanish with over 15 years experience in the technology, media, retail, and travel sectors. I also have extensive expertise in managing global consumer-centric marketing campaigns, from communication strategy to campaign implementation, and in generating new sales opportunities through the internet. I also hold a PhD focused on the communications process through a strategic planning. And that's me, Tom. Long story
Brilliant.
short,
No, that's really well said. And Wanda, what would you see as your main strength in digital at the moment?
this is a very good question. Look, my profile is so versatile. I started my journey as a graphic designer, where I had the chance to put my imagination and creativity to work. Then I dive into marketing as a product owner assistant, where I had my first digital marketing experience, developing newsletters and digital campaigns. Then I continued my journey as a product manager assistant, where I not only had the opportunity to manage digital marketing campaigns, but to also dive into the product strategy journey. Then I worked as a social media manager and subsequently as a digital marketing manager. I will say that my strong knowledge of the different aspects of marketing, as well as my strategic approach to marketing, always focusing on consumers and how we can help them, this is one of my biggest strengths.
Brilliant. And let's touch on that a little bit more. So, how do you identify your audiences to market to?
So I always use a strategic approach when developing communications campaign. So the consumer is only one step. So I first start by knowing more about the company and the products. Then I investigate who our target audience is. So it means at a demographic level. It means also about the way they use the different social media channels, the digital marketing channels in general, to learning more about their behaviors. I also investigate the marketing mix and what makes a product special. I analyze the characteristics and functionalities of the product and compare them to the competitors' offer also. I ask questions such as where can the customer buy the product? Um, I also ask myself, like, is the placement the appropriate one for customers? Um, I ask questions about the price, and I analyze trends, analyze competitors, because by analyzing these, mainly the trends, you can collect information that can serve to predict the future. This is very useful in order to be always one step ahead. Once you master all the information related to the marketing, the target audience, and the product mix, this investigation is the one that will help you to really develop relevant conclusions about the what of the communication, what to say, to whom, the tone of the communication, and recommendations about the most effective media to connect to the target audience. That's what strategic communication is all about. So yeah, it is about the customers, but also about all of the aspects of product placement, the company itself, the mission, the values, and so it is very important to see, to look at the bigger picture in order to really understand how the products or services that you have could make an impact for customers.
And Wanda, can you give me a kind of real life example of how you operate that? How just something you can help me understand a bit better?
So imagine, well, I can put you an example. Oftentimes, when I'm working on a new project, I can across some clients with a very clear idea about what they want. For instance, the social media channels that they wish to use to connect to their potential customers. Then when I ask them why they want to use a specific social media channel, I receive so many types of answers that reflect no strategic planning, similar to because it is the most popular social media channel right now, or because it is the one that I use and I have some followers. Then my question to them will be, does your target audience use that channel? Do you really know who they are? And what normally follows is the sound of silence when I ask that question. So this is what strategic planning is about. It's about asking the right questions in order to understand the problem and how communications can help to solve that problem. It's about understanding consumers, their behaviors, and the way they consume media in general.
Yeah, really well said. And Wanda, do you use any softwares that kind of help you in your role, and anything you can mention to our audience?
Yes, well, I use several softwares, but the one that I use, I will say more often, is HubSpot's, the HubSpot's marketing platform. I use it to better understand our potential customers and the type of information that they research on our website. It also allows me to create buyer personas that I can then use to group leads into segments and to target them, to offer to them like personalized content that could be really relevant to them. Definitely a great marketing tool that I recommend using.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of HubSpot. For for our listeners, do you integrate everything, all different platforms, into your HubSpot, or how do you? What data do you use in your HubSpot currently?
So I use also Salesforce as a CRM platform. So it allows me to have more fluid conversations with the sales team in terms of lead qualification. So that one is very good. This is the one that I'm using at the moment. I also have Zoom integrated with HubSpot. So it is also helpful in terms of running webinars, online events, and to track visitors, generate new leads as
Brilliant.
well.
And Wanda, looking at yourself for a second, is there any areas you're interested in upskilling in, and why?
So I consider myself a lifelong learner. In this career, it's very important to always keep your up to date. I would like to keep learning about new trends, new technologies, and how they will change the way people communicate and connect with brands. So those are like the areas that I like to focus on more.
And looking at the digital industry as a whole, is there anything in the future that you're really interested in seeing what comes up, or you have your eye on one or two things?
Yeah, well, there are several things, but I would say that the one that I'm at the moment a little bit more excited about is the metaverse and the opportunities that it represents in terms of hosting virtual events.
That's a really good example. Can you imagine that being applied to your work?
Oh yes, absolutely. At the moment, we this is part of my job, hosting virtual events. So it could definitely be applied to the virtual events that we are organizing at the moment, but also for the industry overall. After the pandemic, you can see more and more companies organizing virtual events or hybrid events. So I really see the metaverse being like an integral part of those um, big industry virtual events um, in the future.
Yeah, really well said. I wonder, we ask the same question on every show, which is if you could bottle up one personality trait that you have that you could pass on to others, what would it be?
So always be kind to others and to yourself. And every time you do something, think that you are leaving your personal stamp there. So make sure that you do it in the best way possible.
Really well said. Yeah, that's a really good answer. Wanda, that's it. That's the end of the show. Thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate you coming on and sharing your insights. And yeah, I'm sure everyone listening have loved what you had to say.
Thank you very much, Tom. It has been a pleasure to share this moment with you and your audience. So thank you very much.